where I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, it was really, really small towns and pretty remote. Really didn't have any museums other than like, the county museum, which was mostly about logging and fishing, and because that's the environment that I grew up in. And, I've always had a love for the art of my people, because I grew up with it. And so my best friend's mom knew this lady that owned the Trees of Mystery in Klamath, California. And they have housed in that tourist facility probably one of the best private Native American art collections in the country. And the lady that owned it, she's been gone now for probably about 8 years. Her name was Mary. And my best friend's mom called one winter when they were closed, because they were only open during tourist season, and made arrangements for me to get dropped off at the Trees of Mystery. And she took me through that museum and opened every case. She spent 8 hours with me and pulling things out and saying, here, look at it closely, handle it. Look at how it's made. Look at the fine stitching. Look at this, look at that. And it was a day that I'll never forget. It changed my life. And years later, after I had been a professional artist for several years, I stopped on a trip back from a show to visit my folks. And, it had been easily 30 years since I'd stepped foot in that place. So I made it a point to stop on the way there. And I walked in and I asked the lady behind the counter, I said, is Mary still here? Do you know she is? I figured she was gone because she was elderly, when I met her when I was in high school. But this lady said, yeah, she is. She comes in every day, but she'll be right back. Can I ask what this is about? And I just kind of briefly told her what the story was, and how I had met her and her kindness. And so about a half hour later, Mary came in, and I said, I know you don't know who I am, but I'm a person here to thank you for something that you did that changed my life. And I said, it was probably about 30 years ago. And you spent the day with me one winter in this space that we're in right now. She said, oh my God, Tim. And I said, yeah, you remember? She said, oh yeah. I'd never had anybody else that had that deep interest and nobody would have spent nobody else has ever spent the time like that. And she said, what are you doing these days? And I said, well, funny you would ask. I'm a full-time artist and a performer. And she said, well, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a flute maker. And she said, oh my God, I love flute music. I remember your grandfather playing. And I said, really? She said, yep. And I said, what time are you out of here today? She says, I'm here all day. I said, have you got a minute? She said, yeah. And I said, okay, I'll be right back. And I went out to my truck, and I came back in with a bundle of flutes. And right there in the museum, I gave her about a 2-hour concert. And she just cried, made me cry. I still get teared up when I think about it. It was an amazing day, and just a really wonderful way to be able to reconnect, with someone that was so influential in your life.